Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be filming my review and a 3 demo look on the Klara Cosmetics Malibu eyeshadow palette. Klara Cosmetics actually sent this palette over my way, but this video is not sponsored and my opinion will always remain 100% honest. So to start off with the review, I'm going to give you guys some product info about Klara Cosmetics just because Klara Cosmetics is more of like an indie brand. They have like 40k followers on Instagram. I think it's great to just mention these kind of brands in my videos because you really never know what you're gonna find from these brands. They might be your holy grail products, and I think it's just good to support those smaller brands. But they are an Australian owned and designed brand. They sent over their Malibu palette, which by the way, the packaging of these palettes are so stunning. I love it so much. All of their eyeshadow palettes look somewhat like this, but the colors and everything are a little bit different. So this is their Malibu palette. It has 24 shadows and this retails for 64 Australian dollars, which to me it is a little bit pricey, but for 24 shadows I think it's not that bad, and especially when it's coming from like an indie brand, it is going to be a little bit more pricey. You do get like a little mirror in here as well, and these are the shadows, and this palette to me is just so stunning. First off, let's talk about the formula because I think when you are introduced to a new brand, you want to know mostly about the formula first. So the formula to me, it reminds me of the e.l.f. Matte for Matte formula, where it's a little bit like dusty in a way. It's very different from what I'm used to. It's different from Morphe, it's different from Colourpop. So when I first played with this, I was a little bit taken back a little bit, like I was not used to this kind of formula. So when you first apply them, they are very easy to blend out. Like you just gotta swish and it blends out seamlessly. But the thing with these, they are very buildable. Even though it says it's 100% color pigment over here, I don't really know what that really means, 100% color pigment. I probably should have done more research on that, but when you apply them, they look almost like muted and they're not as pigmented. For example, like the Colourpop eyeshadows or the Morphe shadows, and I'm talking specifically about the mattes. When you apply them, they are very light, very muted. You really gotta build it up, and to some people that might be like a disadvantage. They want pigment right off the bat and blend with that, but there are some other people that might like buildable shadows because they have more control over it. So it really depends on you, but this is what these shadows are like. When you apply them, they are very light and you really gotta build it on to get that color intensity. So for the mattes, I feel like they are a little bit harder to work with in that aspect. They are very easy to blend, but they are very hard to get that pigment there. As for the metallics, I think they are so stunning. So there's a range of metallics in here. Some of them are a little bit more chunky and have bigger specks of glitters in there. Some are more on the satin sheen metallic side. So you do have a range of finishes in here. And the metallics to me are super stunning. Use them wet, use them dry. I use my inner corner highlight one. I use it dry and I just think it's so blinding, so stunning. So the metallics for me in the Klara Cosmetics formula is more of a standout rather than the mattes. So now let's talk about the shade range in here. So you get 2 rows of metallics and 2 rows of mattes. The bottom row of mattes are kind of like your basic essential mattes, stuff that you would need for a base, for a transition to deepen and to darken. And then you have your colorful mattes, and then you have 2 rows of metallics. And the metallics range from golds to blues to purples. In this palette, you are getting a little bit of everything. You can make everyday looks by just using these lighter everyday mattes. You can make them more crazy with these greens, these blues, these purples, and then you have your gold and bronzy shades. You have warm shades. You have a bit of everything in this palette, and I think the shade range in this palette is pretty spot on. The only thing is I don't like these 2 shades over here in the bottom row of the mattes. These 2 literally just disappear into my skin tone. I wish it was a little bit more richer and deeper and a little bit more warm, but these are just too muted. They just disappear onto my eyes. But other than that, every other color that I have played with, keep in mind I haven't touched everything. I've swatched everything, but I haven't used everything on my eyes. Like, I don't know how this lime green works on my eyes because I didn't get to use it within the 3 demos, but for the most part I'm pretty impressed with this palette. It's definitely not like my holy grail. It doesn't beat Colourpop, it doesn't beat Morphe, but it is a palette that I can see myself reaching to a lot. I really do want to create more looks, more than the 3 that I just created for this video. I want to create more because there are shadows in here that I didn't get to play with that I think would just look so freaking stunning. And the last thing that I just want to quickly mention about this palette is to do your eyes first, because with the mattes and the metallics there is a ton of kickback with this, so you will have fallout no matter what you do. If fallout is like a make or break thing for you, then I would just say skip out on this palette completely, because there is fallout with this palette no matter what you do. So yeah, with that being said, that is pretty much my review come to a conclusion. So if you guys are interested in seeing me do 3 looks with this one eyeshadow palette, then just continue watching. So first up, I'm going to take this reddy orange shadow, and this is going to be our transition shade. I'm putting that straight into the crease using windshield wiping motions, and I'll slowly blend it up towards my brow bone. Next up, taking the medium brown on the bottom row, I'm going to focus this on the outer third of my eye and what is ever left on my brush without dipping back into the shadow. I'm going to slowly move that towards the inner part of my crease. Since we are doing a half cut crease for this look, you want to make sure that you have depth all over your crease area. And now I'm just taking the black and I'm just going to do the same kind of motions but focusing the black in a smaller area. Since black is obviously the darkest color ever, it's going to be a lot more harder to work with, so make sure you just pick up a little on your brush and just slowly build that up. It's better to start off with a little rather than going ham with it and not being able to blend it out afterwards. And now I'll just be taking some concealer on the back of my hand and I'm going to start cutting out my crease. So I'm going to place the concealer in the inner part of my lid space and bring the concealer up to my crease, like a little bit above my crease where I think it should be. And then I will look up, and this is going to mark a mark where I should take the concealer up, because if I go past this mark there will be no transfer. After I get that down, I'll go and define it a little bit more with a very thin paintbrush to make the cut crease very, very sharp. Next, I'm going to be taking this beautiful turquoise teal metallic shadow and I'm going to put that on the center of my lid where the matte shadow meets with the concealer. I'm going to place that right on top, and I did use my brush wet and you can see this shadow is just so stunning. I think it's so beautiful and so unique. I've only seen one similar shadow to this. And then I'll be taking this shadow here, which is kind of like a light mint green. And I'm going to put that right in the inner part of my cut crease where we left blank previously. And I'm going to mesh it in towards that turquoise. And these two shadows blend so nicely together. And then I'll be taking the cobalt blue and I'm going to use this shadow to mesh the shimmer shadows into the matte by just swiping between the two, and you can see here that it just seamlessly blends into each other. Now I'm going back in with that reddy orange shadow and I'm going to use this on my lower lash line from outer to inner corner, just really smoking out, dragging it down quite low. And once again, just taking that medium chocolate brown, I'm going to use this to define my lower lash line just right under my waterline. I did mix it with a little bit of the black so that way it could show up a little bit better. I then took the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in the shade Punch, and I used this to tightline my bottom waterline, and I love how this yellow contrasts against the blues. And lastly, I'm going to take this shadow here, which is kind of like a light yellowy gold, and I'm going to use this to highlight my inner corners and also my brow bone. And this is the completed look for look number 1. This is probably my favorite look out of the 3. For lashes, I am wearing the Boudoir Light from House of Lashes, and for my lip color, I'm wearing the shade Party Wave in the Ultra Blotted Lip Formula from ColourPop Cosmetics. So for the second look, I'm going to start off with this burnt terracotta shade as my transition shade. And this is kind of like a little bit too dark to be a transition shade off the bat. But you just got to take your time building it up and blending it out, and you should be sweet. And then moving right along next to it using that medium brown, I'm going to put this all over my lid, and I'm going to start creating a gradient. So I'm focusing most of this medium brown all over my lid and a little bit into my crease, but not overtaking the transition shade, because like I said, we want to start a gradient because we're going to go from light to dark. And then moving right along, we are taking the black, and I don't know where I was putting my brush in that clip, but we're taking the black shadow and we're going to focus this strictly just on my lids. Like I've said before, that black is a very hard color to blend out. You want to make sure you just start off with a little, you keep it close to the lash line as possible, and then what is ever left on your brush, you slowly bring that up. You don't want to dip back into the black because you'll just be adding more pigment in the wrong places. So you just want to stick with what you have on your brush and slowly bring that up towards the medium brown, but focusing most of it on your actual lid space. And the way my eyes folds, the inner part of my eye is quite hard to get in using this big brush, so you can always take a pencil brush and get right into every single corner. Then we're going to be taking this Gun Metal Metallic shadow. It is so stunning. I am obsessed with the metallics in this palette. I'm going to put this right on top of the black, focusing most of it on the center. That way, when you tilt your head from left to right, it really catches the light. And I'm just going back in with that same burnt terracotta shade, and this is going to be on our lower lash line from outer to inner corner. Same thing all the time. And just taking that black shadow once again, I'm going to connect it with the shadows on top and really defining my lower lash lines. Since the top is so heavy, we want to make it equal on the bottom as well. I then just took a black eyeliner. This is the Sigma Longwear eyeliner in the shade Wicked, and I just use this to tightline my bottom waterline. And lastly, for this look, I'll be taking this shadow here, which is a beautiful platinum stark white metallic shadow, and I'm going to be using this for my inner corner highlight. And this is the completed look for look number 2. I love how dark and sultry and glamorous this look is. For lashes, I am wearing the Noir Fairy from House of Lashes, and for my lip color, it is the shade Seduction from the NYX Lip Lingerie Liquid Lipstick. So for this look, I'm going to start off with this orange tangerine shade as our transition shade. For this look, initially, I was going to do a half cut crease, but things happened and I realized I couldn't do a cut crease with this one. So it ended up turning into like a purple, orange, sunset gradient, smoky eye kind of thing. And I really liked how the overall vibe of it turned out at the end, but it's definitely not my favorite look out of all of three of these. But I do like how it turned out at the end, but just know that I was struggling when I was filming this. And then I'll be taking that muted rosy pink shade. I know I'm tapping in the wrong place, but damn, I can't see anything when I'm holding this palette up. I don't have a monitor, but I took that rosy pink shade and I just decided to put it right under my crease. With this shadow, you really gotta build it up. It doesn't come off as pigmented as I would like, especially against the orange. I feel like they are very similar shades in tone, so you just gotta really build it up, and you can kind of see it compared to my other eye that hasn't been done yet. And then I took the muted purple and I started putting this all over my lid space, kind of over the pink, just to fuse everything together. And you can see there's like a little bit of gradient, but with more of the pastel matte, they are a little bit more sheer and not as opaque compared to like the metallics. And now I'm just taking the medium brown and the black. As you can see that I really couldn't see what I was tapping at, but I took the medium brown and the black and I kind of mixed it together to make more of a darker brown. And I'm going to use this to line my lash line and also give myself a wing, like a smoky wing with eyeshadow. And if you guys are beginners, I think doing your liner with eyeshadow is definitely a good option to go because it's more safer. I'm now just taking that really orange shadow that we used in look 2, and I'm going to use this on my lower lash line from outer to inner corner. I just wanted something that was a little bit more warmer and brighter for my lower lash line, so I went with this shade. I then took some of that black and doing that same technique that I always do, just putting that directly under my waterline. And then to fill in my waterline, I took the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in the shade Exit, which is just the white. Then I'll be taking this beautiful lilac purple shadow and I'm going to use this as my inner corner highlight. And I'm going quite ham with this. I want this to be kind of like the pop in this eye look. I love this shadow so much. I think it is so stunning, like I've been saying this whole video. But these metallics in here, honestly, I think they're just so freaking pretty. And this is the completed look for my last and final look. I did add some fake freckles just to give the whole summer vibe. For lashes, I am wearing Boudoir Light from House of Lashes once again. And for my lip color, I am wearing Champagne Mami from ColourPop Cosmetics. And this, guys, is going to conclude my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to let me know your favorite look out of the 3 in the comments down below. And also let me know your thoughts on Klara Cosmetics. Do you guys like seeing me include more indie brands? What are some of your favorite indie brands that you would like me to include for future videos? Let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear it and start a chat with you guys. And with that being said, that is pretty much it for my video today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.